video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about Planet of the Apes, specifically the Planet of the Apes franchise. Now I'm only going to be discussing the first 5 movies because I don't want to take forever talking about it. It's April, so of course in April, what do you got to do, guys? You got to go ape. So this is Go Ape in April, talking about Planet of the Apes. And I start off, I'm going to talk with the first film. We'll go chronologically. And it was made in 1968, starring Charlton Heston, Kim Hunter, Roddy McDowall, Maurice Evans, and Linda Harrison, who played Nova. This film was based on the novel by Pierre Buell, and it was filmed in 1967 in northern Arizona. This is right by the Grand Canyon. There's also scenes were filmed in Lake Powell. That's where they had the spaceship crash. And if you haven't seen Planet of the Apes, I recommend watching it. It's a very good film. It's got a cool analogy for racial tension in modern society, which is neat. And it makes you think, makes you have a good think, but it entertains you, and it's pretty good. Basically, if you haven't seen it, the story follows some astronauts that are on a space journey, and they went really far away from Earth at a really high rate of speed. So if we all remember physics class, relativity equals mc squared, time is going slower for them than it is everywhere else. So of course they're way off in the future. Everything's different. Everyone they know and love is dead, and now they crash on this planet, and they've got to discover and figure out what the hell is going on, because they're on this crazy planet populated by apes. And it starts out, they land in this desolate area, crash landing into the water. They discover that one of their crew members is dead, died in her sleep, maybe hundreds of years ago. Who knows, right? It's been like thousands of years, or hundreds of years, or 700 years, something like that, since they went to sleep in their little cryo sleep area. And they've got to go find their way through this strange planet, and they end up happening upon a lush green cornfield. And there are humans there, apparently, eating corn. So they figure, why not just join them, because they're hungry. Their rations are gone. They're eating the corn. And all of a sudden, apes come on horseback, start terrorizing everybody, capturing them, shooting them, and the leader of this astronaut group, Taylor, gets captured along with his 2 comrades, companions, crew members, whatever you want to call them. And he gets separated from them, and his throat gets injured in this battle. So he can't talk, he can't communicate. He almost dies. And he ends up meeting... He ends up meeting these apes, Cornelius and Zira, who are kind of sympathetic to humans. They're a degraded species in this society. They're seen as animals and treated like animals. They're kept in cages at the zoo. They're stuffed in museums, and it's kind of a neat movie. I don't want to go too much into it, because I feel like it's one of those movies you got to just step into fresh if you haven't seen it, although everybody's pretty much seen it, which is the other reason I don't want to go too far into it, because I'll ruin it if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, you just don't want a big retread discussion, and I got friggin' 4 other movies to talk about. So it's a cool film. Charlton Heston does a great job as Taylor. Roddy McDowall is awesome, and this is the role that he is known for. Pretty much, well, I guess there's really no pretty much about it. I mean, this is his role, and it's a good movie. The screenplay was written by Rod Serling. They kept most of his ideas, but not all of them. The screenplay, it's supposed to be a highly advanced civilization, much like in the novel. However, in the movie, they're using wagons and horses, and they don't have the ability to fly in planes. And they have muskets and crude rifles, and that's basically what they got going on. So, not too advanced. This movie, however, was pretty advanced. The makeup effects, cutting edge for the time, actually revolutionary, really, because, it was one of the first times you could get these big prostheses on actors and actresses' faces, and they'd still convey a decent amount of motion. So, it's pretty damn good. Thing would cost about $5 million to make this, and it made $20 million. Almost $21 million. So they got their coin back, Fox did, and they decided to make another one. And they approached Rod Serling for the sequel, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which came out just 2 years later in 1970. And Rod Serling, he had some great ideas, but Fox apparently didn't like them, said, no, we're going to pass, which is fine. They wanted to get Charlton Heston back to reprise his role as Taylor, which they did. However, Charlton Heston didn't really want to do it, so they had to change what they'd written and kind of get rid of him at the very beginning of the film and bring him back at the very end. And he only agreed to do this film if they would kill his character off at the end of the movie, and if they would donate his pay to charity, which they did, and they did. So, that happened. Excuse my cat. And they got Charlton Heston in it. And basically, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's pretty cool. You get to see more of the ancient Earth civilization. You get to see buildings. You get to see the New York Public Library makes an appearance in this one. The whole idea of Beneath the Planet of the Apes comes from a mention in the film that society is buried. Ancient human society is buried under the ground. So they thought, hey, what a rad idea. Let's have the city buried underneath the ground. And in this city, wouldn't you know, humans survived. Yeah, there are mutants in the city with crazy psycho powers. So that's always cool. And again, in this movie, you got Roddy McDowall as Cornelius. You got Kim Hunter as Zira. You got Linda Harrison comes back. She's Nova. And it's pretty good. You got James Gregory's in this as General Urso. And he's basically hunting for Taylor and hunting for humans into the Forbidden Zone. And we find out why they call it the Forbidden Zone in this movie. We find out just what is the deal with that. And we find out a lot of other interesting things about this. And I don't want to spoil the ending if you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to mention what happens at the end. But the end was a last-minute idea that was put forth to basically kill the whole thing, and they did it. And then this film went along and made $13 million, almost $14 million. So they said, hey, we need to make another one. So they made another one. And in 1971, the very next year, we got Escape from the Planet of the Apes, which is, I'm a big fan of that movie. I think it's pretty much the best out of the sequels. And this one has Kim Hunter and Roddy McDowall reprising their roles as Zira and Cornelius. We don't get Charlton Heston in this one, unfortunately, but that's okay. We got Bradford Dillman as Lewis Dixon. We got Eric Braden as Dr. Otto Haslund. And we got Sat Minro as Milo. And we also have Ricardo Montalban, who Star Trek fans will remember as Khan from Wrath of Khan. So that's kind of cool. Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. You got Ricardo Montalban in there as this circus promoter, and I'll get into that a little bit. No, I won't. Actually, I'll save that because I don't want to ruin this film either. This film has sort of a more bleak ending. I don't know. It's pretty bleak. It's hard to really say without ruining it. You should, if you haven't seen the movies, you really shouldn't be watching this video. So if you haven't seen it, see it, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think it's the best out of the sequels. It's basically, the plot of this one is you get the apes escaping basically Earth in the last film and traveling back in time to the 1970s. And you see them with a role reversal. Now they're in the world of humans, and they're the animals, except they're not really received as animals. They're received as like guests, and they almost pretty much become celebrities, which is kind of neat, and it's an interesting take on it, and it's cool, and you should see it. And that one actually made $12 million. So because that made $12 million, they said, we need another one. We need another sequel. So then along comes Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And that came out in 1972. That one is directed by J. Lee Thompson. The last one, directed by Don Taylor. One before that, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Ted Post, and the original one was Franklin Schiffen. So, kind of neat. I meant to mention that a minute ago, but I did not. So I'm just going to give you that info now. It's always nice. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, a little bit darker than the last one. Pretty much one of the darkest of the series. Very heavy on the racial analogy, which I like. It's cool. It's got that 70s feel big time in this one, and it comes through. We've got so in this film we've got Roddy McDowall, and this time he's not playing Cornelius, he's playing Caesar, Cornelius' son. And we've got Ricardo Montalban has come back again. He is Armando. We've got Natalie Trundy in this one. She's Lisa. And we've got Harry Rhodes as Malcolm McDonald. And we've also got Don Murray as Breck. And this one's a little bit more bleak, as I said. And all of the Planet of the Apes films, it's interesting to note this one had the smallest budget. But this is actually my third favorite out of the series, so it's kind of cool. And this is also, in addition to having the smallest budget, it was the only one to be shot on Todd AO 35mm. All the other films shot on Panavision, even the next sequel to come. And this one, unlike the others, didn't do quite as well. Only made $9 million at the box office, which that's only $4 million more than the very first film cost to make. So, yeah, what can you do? What can you do, folks? What can you do? So it was successful, but not too successful. People might remember Harry Rhodes. Malcolm McDonald in this movie from Doctari, which was a series that was on television back in the late 70s, early 80s. It was kind of a fun show. It had them zebra trucks. Gotta love them zebra trucks. So this was successful enough to garner another sequel, so they made another sequel. The other sequel, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And this one, same director as the last one. You got J. Lee Thompson coming back to direct it, coming back to steer the helm, as it were. And you got Roddy McDowall who's in this one again, reprising his role as Caesar. We've got Natalie Trundy in this again, reprising her role as Lisa. We've also got Claude Akins in there as Aldo, and yeah, it's kind of cool. That's who's in that, and it's interesting to note that before production began on this film, before they even started making it, Fox already decided that, hey, after this, we're going to television. No more movies for Planet of the Apes. Going to do just television. So that kind of a bummer if you're making a movie and they already decided, hey, this is going to be the last ride. But if you guys have seen this movie, you can kind of understand why it's the last ride. Yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's funny. The battle cry in this movie inspired the name of the Irish band "Fight Like an Ape," which is an interesting thing to note, you know. And also interesting to note, this movie takes place in our old future of 2018. So I guess since we didn't have that ape apocalypse and we didn't have a battle for the Planet of the Apes, I guess we're safe now. Or who knows, right? Who knows? And this one did slightly worse than the last one, only making $8 million and not the $9 million. So you can kind of understand why we went to television, why it was trending towards television. And that's basically what happened with the Apes films. I guess the thing you do when you do a video like this is you rank them. You rank your favorites. You rank the ones you think are the best. So I'm going to just do my ranking right here in the middle of the video. Best out of the series? Obviously, Planet of the Apes. Great film, groundbreaking, sci-fi classic. What more needs to be said? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Second favorite out of this, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Even though it's the third movie, it's like my second favorite. I love that film. Great film. And next up on my list would be Beneath the Planet of the Apes. It's a good film. It's not quite as good as Escape, but it's good. You get to see Taylor one last time. You get to see Linda Harrison one more time, and you get the cool mutants, and you get the underground New York. And who doesn't love New York buried under tons of rubble? I sure do. Third favorite on this list, gotta be Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. It's just great. It's gritty. It's real. It's 1970s. You know, it is that look. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. And it's shocking to me that it had a lesser budget than Battle for the Planet of the Apes, because it looked like a million times better. But I don't know, maybe that's just my love for the film clouding my judgment. And then, of course, last but not least, well, actually last and least would be Battle for the Planet of the Apes, which, yeah, you might as well watch it if you've gone this far. You know, you watch the other 4 films, watch it, why not? It's there, it exists. It's the swan song for the franchise as far as film goes, at least until we get them reboots, which we did. So it was good. It was good. And that was my ranking. I'd also like to mention that immediately following that, because that film came out in 1973, immediately following it, we had Planet of the Apes, the series, in 1974, which Roddy McDowall again, guys. Roddy McDowall again. He comes back. He's not Caesar this time. He's not Cornelius this time. He's a totally different ape, unrelated to the others. He's Galen. Galen the ape, guys. Galen the ape. The show stars Ron Harper, James Naughton, Mark Leonard, and Booth Corman, who plays Zaius this time. And I like it. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I like it better than I liked the movie Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And I think if I have to rank it as a series, I would rank it along with the second film. I like it about I like it about as much as I like Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Apes. It's good. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's there, and it does what it sets off to do. It entertains you. It gives you some scenarios. It's fun note, Rod Serling again. He wrote the first 2 episodes of this. They didn't use it. They said, no, Rod, we're not going to use that, but thank you anyway. So he wrote it, and they didn't use his pilot. He was supposed to have done the pilot and the second episode, and they never used it. So we didn't get that. Probably would have been pretty cool, but, well, what can you do, you know? Also interesting to point out, this was canceled after just half of its season. This only ran 1 season, and about halfway through, they said, yeah, no, get it off there. Get it off of there. And while it's a failure in the U.S., this actually did very well in the U.K. You Brits, you loved it out there. I don't know why, but you loved it. And God bless you for that. Also, fun thing to note, in the pilot episode, they used the same plywood spaceship that was in the first film. If you recall, you see the first film after the spaceship crashes in the middle of Lake Powell, the ocean. You can see its nose sticking out of the water. That's 25 or 24 foot plywood replica of the spaceship, and they used that again. They reused it. I'm kind of surprised it survived, but it survived, and they used it, so that's kind of cool. And it didn't do too well, so they roll the dice again, guys. Roll the dice again. It's a successful franchise, so they rolled the dice again, and we got Return to the Planet of the Apes, this time an animated series. And this one starred Richard Blackburn and Tom Williams. They kind of switched actors halfway through, playing the role of Bill Hudson, which was one of the astronauts. This time you got Zira. She's played by Philippa Harris. You got Henry Corden as General Urko. You got Judy Franklin as you got Claudette Nevins as Judy Franklin. She's one of the astronauts. And Austin Stoker was Jeff Allen, another one of the astronauts. Dr. Zaius this time. Again, Richard Blackburn. Because it's animation, they can reuse the same actors for multiple parts. It's fun fact. Austin Stoker, who played Jeff Allen in this series, was McDonald in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So we get back to that last movie that didn't do so well. Kind of neat. And Henry Corden, who was Urko, not only did he do that, he also did the voiceovers in the beginning. And if his voice sounds vaguely familiar, guys, that might be because Yabba Dabba Doo, he was Fred Flintstone. Yeah. Fred Flintstone's voice is in this. Isn't that crazy? I like the look of the animated series. I like the look a lot. It had really good backgrounds. It's kind of a crude animation style, but I like it. I think it's cool. It like, I don't know, it hits this nice little vibe. So, yeah. I guess in summation, watch the movies. They're great. Watch the TV series if you really love the movies. And watch the animated series even if you didn't like the TV series and you only sort of liked the movies, because it's fun and it's cool. You should watch it. Just watch it. What are you gonna lose? What's it gonna cost you? What's it gonna cost you? I'm kidding anyway. But it's April, so you gotta go ape in April. So I'm urging all of you to go ape. Go on the Twitter machine. Use the hashtag #GoApeInApril. Talk about your Planet of the Apes films. Maybe tag some friends. Do like a Planet of the Apes tag. Do Go Ape in April, the tag. And tag some people, see what their thoughts are on this great franchise. Maybe they've got some cool insights I didn't share with you. They probably do. So you should check them out. And, you got to do it. And every year we all observe this fine tradition of going ape. in April. Thanks. Leave a comment below. Hit a thumbs up if you like it. Hit a thumbs down if you think this video sucked. And if you really like it, you're really enthused with it, subscribe, because I guess that's what I'm supposed to ask you to do. And I apologize for the cat meowing through the whole thing, or through most of it, or making noise. It's what do you do when you got animals in the house? I guess you tolerate them. You tolerate them and you give them love. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.